Hello, this is Zarathustra. Today I'm going to talk to you about stillness. I have mentioned about stillness in the past, and people have been asking me, what do you mean and what does stillness means? Does it mean that I sit at one place and I don't go anywhere? Do I have to go sit under a tree in a yoga position and be still? What does it mean? What does stillness means? What it means is coming and identifying a part of ourselves, which is the main core of our being, which is always still, it's always here, it's always present, and it does not move. It's not involved in the pendulum of our lives. That part, we can call it that it's a witness, it's the observer, it's the part that is aware of different states. It's not involved in the states of the mind. For example, and it's also not involved in the states of the body. First of all, when we begin to pay attention to this part of our being, or our higher self, or our real self, or our big self, or whatever name we want to address it, is we realize, for instance, that we are not our bodies. Even though from childhood we have a very strong identification to our body. For instance, if something happens and my knee hurts or my arm hurts, I always say that my knee hurts, my arm, I have pain in my arm, I have a headache, I have a stomach ache, but I don't say I'm aching. Also, the body starts getting old, it decays, and eventually it dies. So it becomes very clear as time goes on that I'm not my body. I'm not my name. I'm not my last name. I'm not my nationality. I'm not the religion that they've been given to me when I was born. So when you pay attention, you start realizing that you're not these things, because these things are like labels that have been attached to me. Then it comes to the thoughts. We're able to say that, oh my God, my mind is going crazy. I have so many thoughts in my head. There's like a bombardment of thoughts happening in my mind. Well, how is that possible? And how can I identify this? Because I'm able to see that there's these thoughts going through my head. So after a while, we start to realize that, oh wow, maybe I'm not my thoughts, because my thoughts are not always there. They come and go, and they're not permanent. Then it's the emotions in the body, or the feelings that we get. I'm hurt, I'm down, I'm up, I'm depressed, I'm happy. There's a period that you may be very happy. There's a period that you're down. Today everything goes well. Tomorrow you get a phone call, something happens, and then you're very depressed. So what is it? That you're able to see yourself also, that maybe one day you're high and one day you're low. And these thoughts are going through your mind. Well, I share this with you. There's a part of you which is very still and non-moving. Because of this part of you, you're able to see change. Because this part of you is not changing at all. This part of you is still. Because of this stillness, you're able to see your mental states. Being high, being low. Being depressed, being very happy. And because of this part, you're able to see the body feeling good and feeling bad, having pain or not having pain, being energetic. This part is already built inside you. And we haven't been taught from childhood to pay attention to it because we've been brainwashed to bring our attention outside of ourselves. But once you start noticing that there's this part of you that never changes, and it's always still, and it's always silent, and it's here. Once you start paying attention to it, and begin to identify with this part of yourself rather than the states that you've been experiencing, then you start seeing that you are still. You begin to see stillness within yourself. It's always been there. And it's something you don't need to work on to gain it. It's already a built-in feature in your being. You were born with it. And as long as you're on this planet, it's going to be there. And you do experience it at times, because there are moments that your mind is quiet, emotionally you're not going through anything. There's many, many moments in life that you're just perfectly still inside. So you already have it, my beautiful friends. All you have to do is start paying attention to it. Bring your attention to this part of you that can see all these different states that you go through. And realize who you really are. You are this, not this being that goes up and down all the time. That one is subject to the pendulum. This one is non-moving. It doesn't move. And that's where the freedom is. When you begin to realize this part of yourself and you begin to pay attention to it. And then all of a sudden, equality begins to appear. It's always been there, but now you start noticing it more than before. It's a quality of life that you realize that nothing really bothers you. And if it does bother you, it's very, very short term, because you're not projecting it outside. You realize that the outside is temporal, and it comes and goes. And this is always still and permanent. Namaste.